forget to update. So you have to look so hard. If I get in trouble,
All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Appreciate you guys coming today. We were going to do this next month. We decided, we just kind of ended with the business planning side of things, and we really wanted you guys to be able to go ahead and really start diving in to the opportunity of lead generation. So just kind of show of hands, how many of you guys would say that you're pretty decent at lead generation? Okay.
Got one.
All right, so all of us have a lot to learn. We're going to kind of dive into a couple different things today. One we're going to talk about is just different types of lead generation, where you guys get your leads from, what you see as like hurdles in the lead generation process. And then we're going to kind of dive into different systems, different methods, and then I want to show you guys a couple things, and this kind of preludes up to something we're going to launch starting next week. So we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But one of the things that I wanted to just kind of start out with is I need a volunteer that wouldn't mind standing up here, and I want to just kind of show you guys what the biggest factor with lead generating really comes down to. So who wants to be my volunteer? Come on up, Tom.
I just gotta stand here, right?
You just got to stand here. That's right. So what I want you to do is I want you to stand here, and I want you to hold this out, okay? And I want you to do that as long as you possibly can. So
This is gonna generate leads.
this is going to generate strength in your mind, right? So how long do you think you should pretty much hold that there for?
Few minutes.
A few minutes. Do you think that by you holding that there, that your arms are going to give out first, or do you think that your mind's going to tell you, hey, my arms are giving out?
Well, if we're gonna make it a contest, it's gonna be my arms are gonna give out.
Your arms are
But
gonna give out.
usually the mind gives up first.
Why do you think that the mind gives out first?
Because we don't like discomfort. And
Right.
mind says, stop that.
Okay. So what I want you to do, I'm going to go ahead and start teaching the class.
Okay.
And I want you to stand there as long as you can. And we're going to see, so it's 10:12 right now. We're going to see.
Now, I've got a minute or two.
So what I want you to do is when your arms start your mind starts giving you, hey, my arms are getting tired. I want you to kind of work through that.
Okay.
Talk to yourself, build yourself up. You can
Come
do it
on,
out
you
loud.
can do it. You can do it. You can do it.
So you put that down. That's good.
I hear that yoga is really good. That's what they tell the SEALs to do.
Yeah.
Where you like yoga and you work through that thing.
I went to a NASCAR thing and they had us hold one of those things that changes tires. And I was with this other woman holding it and you couldn't bend your elbow. And literally my arms, of course the other lady did cheat, she kept bending her elbow a little bit. But I watched my arm physically go down and my brain could not stop it. My strength and my brain couldn't stop it. My physical strength, I was too out of shape.
So this is a 15-pound weight. Most everybody in here can hold a 15-pound weight, right? But what's funny is this phone in your mind weighs more than 15 pounds. You could sit out here and hold this up like this, but yet at the same time, trying to hold this phone up to your ear, a lot of times weighs more than 15 pounds. And what it comes down to is it really comes down to a mindset of getting out of the fact that you are scared to talk to people. The number one fear, the number one factor in people not exceeding in real estate and not lead generating from a real estate standpoint is the fear factor. It's, I don't know what I'm gonna say, what if they tell me that I'm, crazy, I don't know what I'm talking about, what if I'm not a nice person, what if they're not nice to me on the phone? And constantly throughout the years, you can see people come and go, and it's because they just can't get over the fear factor and the potential for having rejection when it comes to lead generation. If you get over that, if that is a hurdle that you cross over, there's nothing that can stop you in real estate. If you look at the sales industry in general, right? Not just real estate, but you look at the entire sales industry. The biggest factor of sales is people-to-people communication, right? So yes, real estate has a lot that is turned to the internet, and there's different ways that you can gain leads. The problem with real estate and the problem with, I would say, 80% of the agents that are in real estate today is given let's just call it pre-2000, maybe even 2006, 2008, but pre those days, 90% of the people that are in real estate today would have completely failed in real estate back in that day. And the reason is because they didn't have this. All that they had was a phone book, a phone, and a car. And you literally had to go out, you had to call people, you had to go out and see people. It was a complete face-to-face, it was a complete relationship business. The internet has made, has made lead generating much easier, but it's also made it a lot harder. It's made it a lot harder because people want the ease of things, and they don't want to put the effort, and they don't want to have the potential for rejection or the potential for, somebody hurting their feelings or anything. So I want you guys to kind of, just think about that in your own personal lead generating life, if you want to call it. What would you say, and in all transparency, what would you guys say has been some of the things that have held you back from lead generating?
Fear is typically, everything you want is just on the other side of fear.
Fear of rejection?
Okay.
You mean outside, lead generation outside of like purchasing a lead generation thing? I mean, that would be cost.
But even, well, okay, so cost.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's still costing.
And then,
Okay.
Kind of narrowing down the universe of lead generation to, pick 2 or 3 and go with it.
Right.
Right?
So not
there's
running on a hamster wheel.
Yeah.
Well, just getting distracted too, like a buyer will call and then you get distracted by buyers and then you're not focusing on getting your leads for this.
But lead gen could be for buyers as well. It could be.
It could be.
Depending on your focus.
Yeah.
What are some other things? So you got fear, you got cost, you got time, distractions. What else?
Not knowing how.
Not knowing how. So let's take fear, let's take not knowing how. We'll talk about cost in a second, but let's take those factors. Can I use you for example? Okay. So the first time that you guys came and you walked in the door, did you come in and you were like, hi, how are you? All scared, timid? You came in.
That's not my personality.
Right, so you came in and you said, hey, pleasure to meet you. This is why I'm here, right? there's no difference between that and lead generating. You literally, you know, when it comes to real estate, there's one factor in real estate. Almost every person you will meet in person or on the phone at some point in their life will buy a house. Almost. There's a lot that may not, but there, you know, a good portion of those people will. So I think a lot of real estate agents have a fear of the unknown when it comes to lead generation, but yet if they walk outside, they can talk to anybody. Most people in real estate are people, whatever you want to call them. So why is it that people get scared when they, or not scared, but just nervous when somebody says, hey, pick up the phone and call this person? And part of it could be because you don't know what to say. But as you will learn, and as we'll kind of talk about today, lead generating is really just having a conversation with somebody. You don't have to have everything perfect. You don't have to have everything right to start, right? You just pick up the phone. Hey, would you be interested in selling your house? It's a yes or no type question. So we'll kind of talk about that. Cost is another thing. So you know, at some point you're going to want to start investing in your business. We said the other day, you know, we were talking about leads and how to get leads and where to get leads and everything. You can't go and profit money out of the stock market without investing in the stock market. So it's the same thing in your business. You're not going to get leads that are, you know, just handed to you without investing something into those leads. Now, when you get those leads, it's up to you on what to do. We'll kind of talk about that as well. So what I wanted just to kind of dive into is the different methods that, and I kind of gave you guys this sheet here, and it's just different methods of lead generation. And I want to kind of dive into each one, and what I want you to do is, if you're already doing some of these, that's awesome. If you're not, pick one or two and say, okay, for the next quarter, this is going to be, oh, you guys need some sheets? Okay.
Dustin, can you explain how these, like,
Yes.
how it's going to work?
Yes, yeah.
All of them.
If we need more copies, we might need to. So what I used to do when I would sit down with a brand new agent, especially when I was bringing somebody on to our real estate team, is I would sit down and I would draw a circle. And I would take that circle and I would cut that circle in half. And I would say, okay, as part of our team, this is the business that we're going to provide you. And then as part of your being a team member, this is the business that you're going to bring to the table. Might be a good idea for you guys to draw that same circle out and say, okay, here is what I would like to do from a free standpoint when it comes to lead generating. And here are the methods that I would like to invest money in to get leads in addition to what I'm doing on the free side. So take these examples that we're going to talk about, and you know, I'm going to dive into some of them more than others, but you know, we'll if you have any questions, we'll definitely talk about that. The first couple, we're gonna walk through here in depth on these a little bit more in a minute. So I'm just going to kind of give an oversight for them. If you look at all of the top real estate teams, all the top real estate agents, all the top real estate groups in the world, there's one thing that every one of them do. And the one thing that they all do is they prospect. And that could be prospecting to expireds to for sale by owners, to neighborhoods, to buyer leads. Their main focus in their lead generating business is either they're picking up the phone or they're hitting the streets. And that's where, a lot of people struggle with those two things. But I will tell you, to be highly successful in this business, you have to do one of those two things. It really, you can have a good career and you can make sense. To make a lot of money, you have to do one of those two things. So a couple of different ways that you can do that. There are systems that are out there. In the MLS every single day, there's a couple of different categories that pop up. Every single day there are expireds, and the expireds are listings that another agent has listed but didn't sell, and now they're off the market. And then there's withdrawals, and withdrawals are homes that were on the market that they, for some reason or another, they decided to pull those off the market. There are systems that you can purchase out there that will go in and will automatically pull all that information out and will give that information to you. Those systems cost, right? So that is one of those that you would have to, invest in. Vulcan 7 is a system that when we had our team, that was the #1 lead source for our team. We would do more business off of that one lead source than anything else. And that system itself pulls expireds, for sale by owners, and withdrawals. So has anybody in here ever prospected? Like, has anybody in here ever called for sale by owners, expireds? When you've done it, what does that look like for you? Have you had success with it? Have you?
Yeah, I've listed 2 for sale by owners.
Okay.
But one of them didn't sell, but it did sell eventually, but not while I had the listing.
That was a unique one, though.
Yeah, that was weird. But the other one did sell, and so we got a lot of other customers from that too. But I think when you call for sale by owner, you're gonna get a pushback that, well, if I wanted an agent, I'd have an agent, and it would probably not be you. I mean, I got 50 agents calling me.
Right.
It's bothering me. So I think the approach that I found more successful is to say, can you tell me more about your house, because I'd like to bring a buyer to you.
Right. And
then if they feel comfortable with you, then you could approach them about, well, do you want me to list for you?
Mm-hmm.
So, but a lot of the withdrawals that you see in the MLS and the expireds, they do end up selling. So I always check the tax records, because the great majority of them have already sold. So you have to eliminate the ones that have sold in the last year. And then you have the true expireds and.
Right. And the thing is 70 to 80% of the expireds actually relist within the next week.
Yeah.
So there's an opportunity, and it's a short opportunity to some extent. There's a short opportunity to gain those listings. For sale by owners they're a different breed of people. Sometimes we call them for sale by stupid, because they think that they know exactly what to do. They are a real estate agent. They are an attorney. They're everything. So they've been there. They've done that. So we just educate them when it comes to for sale by owners. For sale by owners since we're kind of on that topic, it's probably the easiest way to get over your fear, right? You're gonna get a lot of rejection with for sale by owners. So the more rejection that you get, the better it actually makes you. Instead of saying, okay, well, they said no, now I'm just gonna put the phone down and go back in the house, whatever it may be, or go to the gym or something. So, the for sale by owners are one of those that you can do a couple of different things. You can pick up the phone, you can call. Every one of them have given you their information. So all of their information is there free for you because they're putting their name out there, they're putting their address out there, they're putting their phone number out there, they're putting their email out there. Why not give them a call, right? So that is one of those that if I'm looking from an expense standpoint versus a free standpoint, you totally can call for sale by owners on free. If you go to Zillow, let me actually show you guys where you can locate for sale by owners.
One more comment on, for sale by owners, a lot of times their photographs are very poor. They don't know how to take their
Right.
photographs. So one thing you can talk to them about is, you know, we could get you some better photos. It probably would get more interest here, you know. Just be like, offer them helpful resources and stuff.
Absolutely. So if you go to Zillow, and we're just going to use Pickens County for an example. Right now, there's 851 homes that are either for sale by owner, regular listings with an agent, or new construction. If you click on the for sale type, in this drop down, it'll list, okay, I want to look at homes by agent, by new construction. If I uncheck by agent, and I uncheck by new construction. Now, new construction, some of those will still pop up because they're actually, there's two separate new construction tabs on here. One is new construction that pulls through the MLS, and another one is new construction that somebody is doing for sale by owner that actually, there's a new construction tab that they can pay for. So now I'm pulling for sale by owners in this market. So let's say I'm looking here and I want to call this 327 Whitmore. If I click on it, it's going to give me all the information about the house. Slowly but surely. And then if I scroll down, all the way down at the bottom, you're going to have the top three people are going to be premier agents. So premier agents are Zillow partners that are agents in local areas that buy leads from them. The last person there is going to be the property owner. It's going to have their phone number so you can reach out and call them. This is a great source for sale by owners. Just to kind of give you guys an idea.
You just find an inventory.
Just to give you an idea, if we were to remove the boundary of, take off these. So just to kind of give you an idea, if you live in the upstate South Carolina, there's only 619 for sale by owners right now. So that's 619 opportunities that somebody's trying to sell their home that you could potentially help in selling their home. If you are not taking this, this is probably the most accurate free resource that you could possibly have. It's 100% accurate information when it comes to their phone number because they're the ones putting it in, and it's completely free. So if you're not taking part in this, I would highly suggest in jumping on here. If you don't know what to say, make it up. It's okay. If you don't know what to say, just call them and say, hey, I see you have a house for sale. I'd love to come out and preview it and see if it matches any of my clients' criteria. Then you meet them face to face and just start having a conversation with them about selling their home. So you've got Zillow. I'm glad you brought up the for sale by owner thing. Has anybody ever door knocked?
Yes.
Does anybody like door knocking?
Yes.
No, yes. Yes, why? No, why? You said you like door knocking, yes.
Yeah.
Why?
Because people are nice. And maybe because I'm a female and I don't look very threatening, but people are very nice to me. And they're very welcoming.
Does Mike look nice?
Yeah, I think Mike looks nice.
Why do you, Mike, why do you not like door knocking?
I just don't like rejection.
You don't like rejection.
Yeah.
You being a former police officer does not like rejection.
I like, well, I mean, it's different, you gotta treat people differently in this profession than you do.
You're right.
You're right. The other, I mean, well, maybe not today, but back in the day, the other one just being in uniform, gave you some amount of respect by the person you're dealing with. Nowadays, it doesn't, but, you know, it's just, people look at you differently.
Yeah.
Like, if you're in uniform versus how I'm dressed right now versus if I'm wearing a suit.
Right. So let's talk about the rejection side of things. What is it about the rejection that you don't like?
I don't like feeling like I'm wasting their time and my time.
But they're giving you their information. They're saying, I want to sell my house. So how are you wasting their time?
So you're talking about door knocking on those people versus random.
Right. I'm talking about just random door knocking in the neighborhood,
Okay.
like, Beanberry or, what's that other one down the street from there at the other end? One Rhonda lives in or lived in.
Yeah.
I door knocked that neighborhood. I door knocked Beanberry, of course I didn't see you. And, just bravely you lived there.
So let me ask you this question. So even if it's just randomly door knocking, right? You're in this career, why? Why did you get into real
To
estate?
help people.
To get
Like
paid,
helping people.
to get paid. God, that's why we're here, to get paid.
Well,
But you like helping
people.
people.
Yeah. also
Yeah,
help
try to get it home.
Sue does.
But I really don't give a crap about people. Sue like that.
So, but you like helping people, right? So if you can help somebody, because if somebody's gonna sell their house, they're gonna do it one of two ways. Either they're gonna do it for sale by owner, or they're gonna do it through an agent. How would you say, personally, how would you compare yourself to the majority of the agents in this area? Do you think you're average, do you think you're better, exceptional, below average?
Average.
I think you're cutting yourself short.
I don't know.
I think you're cutting yourself short.
Yeah.
So I would say that everybody sitting in here is probably above average. Whether you really realize it or not. There's a lot of real estate agents out there that have no clue. A lot of them know less than the actual consumer does than you guys do. So you're here because you want to learn and go help other people. The agents that are not here, whether they're at a different brokerage or whatever, they're just going in as this is their job and they're trying to make a little money and that's about it. But you're here because you want to learn. So the biggest thing is you can help somebody just randomly, or you can help somebody targeted, or you can, if you go and you knock on somebody's door, how do you know that they just didn't have the conversation the night before about maybe potentially selling their house? And now you're at their front door saying, hey, I'm here to help you in any way I can. It's not, if you don't think you're bothering people, then it's 100%, it comes down to the mindset. Is the weight of me bothering somebody greater than the weight of me helping them out?
But I feel like if someone does that to me, it is bothering me and it drives me nuts. Like, don't call me or do something, leave me alone. Don't knock on my door, you're making my dogs go crazy, just leave me alone.
That's kind
So
of.
I feel like the same. I feel
But
like
I'm not
not
looking to
safe
sell
in this
either.
one.
So let me ask you a question. You say that, right? If you're going to purchase something at, let's call it Target, at some point during that time, you may sign up for a coupon because you want to save a little bit of money. The other,
Talking to my husband.
huh?
Coupons.
The other 30,000 coupons that you get from them are annoying at that time because you're not ready. But you're getting coupon after coupon after coupon from these people, right? So at some point, you're gonna use them. If you don't ever introduce yourself to them, and it could be you introduce yourself to them once, and then 2 years down the road, you stay in touch with them over time, 2 years down the road, now they're ready. Instead of you being that annoying person, now you're the best person that you could possibly help them out.
Is it as effective to leave like a little gift card?
Absolutely.
Or stuff? Okay, that I can do.
Or something, send them a postcard, send them a Christmas card, drop something, if they're not there, drop something on the door.
You know those open house directionals?
Yeah.
One of the trainings we went to said that just buy a bunch of those open house ones and put a little, your business card and like a written note, just with that and put it by their door and just say, just wanted, something to have you, to help you with your next open house.
If that's for sale by owner.
For sale by
Yeah.
owner, right, exactly.
But I mean, like, if you're just
It
random.
puts in their head like, oh, I have done an open house, maybe this person knows what they're talking about, it's because a lot of times they haven't even done an open house.
And sometimes their pictures are so horrible. I
Right.
mean, they're just so bad that
Right.
maybe you could, say, the market is, there's not a lot on the market, and I know that you'd like to get the highest price, and I saw your pictures. Could I offer you some pointers? Maybe you could even get a compensation agreement and say, hey, listen, if you allow me to come in and help you stage, and get the first 5 pictures better, maybe we can work a compensation out, but if that doesn't work after a couple of weeks, maybe we might consider listing, or, I get frustrated with realtors that put up crappy pictures. I can't take it. It doesn't take much to bring your white mat lace and throw it on all the beds and make sure the pillows are right and get everything off the counters and make sure all your pictures are like perfect. But
Shut the toilet seat.
yeah, I don't like take all the magnets off your refrigerator. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But just little things like, hey, I see you're doing this, and I know that this market or this, there's just no inventory right now too. So, if you are thinking of selling, this is the time right now. Right now it's kind of a crazy time because prices are a bit overinflated right now.
Right.
Maybe I even had an appraiser call the other day and say, why did you list it for this? And I said, because of the comps. She said, but it's not worth that much. And I said, yeah, I know, but I can't help it. The house down the street just sold for the $40,000 that this house is probably not technically worth, but it's what the market demands right now. So
your neighborhood, everybody, your neighborhood that you live in, now that you're in real estate, if you've had this happen to you, raise your hand. Does it burn your butt if somebody else puts a for sale sign in your neighborhood?
Oh, yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
It's always the top lake person in my neighborhood, always the top lake seller.
But is it because they, they pick up the phone and they call that person, or is it because they don't know that you're in real estate? If they don't know that you're in real estate, you can't blame them. But if your neighborhood, if you don't know the people in your neighborhood and you're not a community involved person, if they don't know who you are, you really need to get into your community. That is probably one of the easiest lead generating tools that you can have. Get out, meet your neighbors, just go to yard sales, go to events, hand out cards. You don't have to be that pushy sales type. Just be, hey, here's my information if you ever need anything. Send out, I don't know, do little pop buys or, just drop things off and say, hey, Merry Christmas. Here's a gift card or whatever it looks like. There's a lot of different ways to get involved where you live. And I think that's even one that, people drive in and out every single day and they have no idea that you live on their street and you sell real estate. So then they go and they like, okay, Google, who's the best agent in town? And some guys pay, $25 to run an ad that's absolutely horrible. He's not the best agent in town. You're the best agent in town because you know that neighborhood better than anybody else, but yet they don't know that you are a real estate agent in your neighborhood.
Or they say, I know you're an agent, but my best friends, that's happened like 3 or 4 times. I'd like to meet you, I know you're an agent, but my friend's also in real estate, and so I'm going,
I would talk to them about a referral. I said, instead of compromising a relationship with your friend, can it would be a win-win for both.
right, if they
If
would.
you feel like I'm the best fit for you and you don't want to compromise that relationship, why don't we pay her a referral fee and then she still gets something
Right.
from the transaction?
So this next strategy that we're gonna talk about is something that you guys probably overlook every single day. And you talk to them, you see them, you interact with them, you go to eat with them, you go and you do things outside of work, you do family events with them, but your friends and your family is one of your biggest lead generating sources that you have. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, I don't want to mix business and relationships together. Exactly. Why not? Right? So you're here to help them. You're not gonna screw them over. You're not gonna do anything like that. So if you could use KV Core in a way that you don't have to be the one reaching out to them every single time. You personally don't have to be the one doing the work. I want to show you guys something, and I'm just going to select a random lead. I don't even know what lead it is. If you, as an agent, put all of your people into KV Core, and what I mean all your people is your friends, your family, anybody that you know that owns a house. And you came over here to this market report, and you add them on a market report. A market report in KV Core does one thing. It sends out like a monthly, you can kind of set it up monthly, quarterly, whatever. All it is saying, hey, here's the value of your home. Here's things that have changed. Here's some homes that have sold in your area. These are the ones that are active on the market. People like to know that information. People like to know what the value of their home is. Hey, is my value going up? Is it going down? Is what's my neighbor's house worth? This is going to give them all that information. So all you have to do is put their name in there, their email in there, their address in there, and click on that market report, and you're done. And it will continually send out information to them. And it doesn't like overload them. It's not going to spam them with a bunch of information. It is only giving them the information that most people are wanting anyway. What's the value of my house? So make sure you focus on your database. The top strategy for lead generating for a lot of the top agents starts with their database. And most people nowadays get stuck with just putting it in here and being done with it. You guys need to start calling those people. Go have coffee with them. Go have lunch with them. You should have a core group of people in your sphere of influence that is your go-to, that if they ever hear of anybody that's going to talk about real estate, your name needs to come up. Now, you can't technically go out and give them bonuses and all this kind of stuff. That, when it comes to if they send you business, you can take them out to dinner, you can do different things for them. and show them from a friend standpoint, hey, I appreciate you thinking about me. But I would absolutely focus on your database as one of your sources. Next one is mega open houses and just different events. So there are different strategies around doing open houses. I would say probably one of the better people in our brokerage when it comes to open houses is Sarah. She does a really good open house and is got a lot of leads off of open houses. You can do, most people that do open houses don't really do them right. They put a sign in the front yard, they put it on, the MLS, and that's it. A true open house is getting it out as to every avenue you possibly can. So putting a bunch of directional signs, putting a bunch of different flyers out, going to the neighbors in the area saying, hey, we're doing this open house. Do you have anybody that you could bring? By the way, have you ever thought about selling your house? There's a lot of different steps that you can take. If you're interested in doing open houses, I would actually, there's a lot of information on YouTube when it comes to doing open houses. I would go to YouTube and put in mega open house and kind of see what some of the other people are doing across the country that do it very well. There's some teams that are out there that is their only lead generating source. Their entire team does open houses all across their area every single day. And that's where they get all of their leads and all of their business. So open houses is really good. Going to events, if you're talking about being in the community, go to community events, join the chamber in your area. Just get involved with other business owners, get to know them. How many people, just talking about kind of from a lead generation standpoint, if you walked into businesses around where you live, where you work, and that type of thing, and you walked up to the people at the front of that business, you said, hey, I'm just, I work here, I live here. Just out of curiosity, who's your go-to agent? The majority of them are going to say, well, I really don't have one, okay? We get people that come in here all the time that are trying to say, hey, would you use me? Here's my business card. When you do a business-to-business relationship, it's a little bit different if you don't like the rejection of knocking on doors. Go to a business and say, hey, I just wanted to drop some cards off. Here's I don't know, a gift certificate or something. I want to drop off some donuts or some sweets or whatever. And just say, hey, if you guys don't have a real estate agent in your company, I would love to be one. Because now you're not targeting one person, you're trying to talk to the entire company. Do things at schools, do things, we had talked about, what are some ways that as a core group that we could get more involved in the community. Go, to the fire department, go to the police department. There's plenty of teachers that buy homes every single year. So there's a lot of different things you can do from events. Any questions on those categories so far?
I have a question, Dustin, when you're at an open house and you have people come in that are working with an agent, but their agent isn't there, do you think it's okay to reach out to them after the fact, or do you think you should get agent information to talk to the agent directly when you want to follow up from an open house?
Depends. So do they have an agent or do they actually have an agent?
Right.
Because a lot of people will go to an open house and say, I have an agent, just so you don't, because they think you're going to bother them. I would open that conversation up and just, talk to them, say, hey, how many homes have you looked at? Well, this is the first home I've looked at. Well, if you never looked at any homes, the likelihood of you having an agency, a little bit less.
Yeah.
If they've looked at 30, 40, 50 homes, they probably have had an agent. So, I would have that conversation. If they do in fact have an agent, I would reach out to the agent.
Yeah.
You don't want to step on those toes. So. Any other questions? That was a good one, by the way. That happens a lot. So one other way that, and this is where you can kind of get into, this is more, I would say, long-term. But the people that do this and do it well and do it long-term have a really, really good return on investment. And that is picking targeted areas that you want to send postcards to, door knock, call these people, stop by, do events in their community. And we call that farming. So in real estate, you know, we call it farming an area, farming a neighborhood. That is a very good way to get your name out there and to get your presence out there. What I will tell you about farming is that it is one of the more expensive ways to gain notoriety in an area. But when you do get to the point where they see your cards every month, or they see your face every other month, or they see you at events, you're going to be that go-to agent. A lot of, I would say, not so much here in our area. There are a few agents that do farm certain neighborhoods, certain areas. But when you get to, like, I've got a guy that I know lives in San Francisco. His entire team has a 1 mile radius that is what they farm. And obviously they're in a much higher density area over there. They literally every day are in that area. That is where almost all of their business comes from. So they send postcards. Typically you would want to send 12 postcards a year. They knock on doors, they call them, they learn who those people are. You friend them on Facebook. On Facebook, you see that it's their birthday, say, hey, happy birthday. You could even have a little tag, hey, happy birthday from your local realtor, whatever you want, how you want to say it. But farming is a very good way to get to a specific area that you want to build your brand in. If you guys live in neighborhoods that are bigger neighborhoods or in neighborhoods where I would say if you're farming, you need a turnover rate of about 6 to 7% minimum. So every year, 6 to 7% of those homes sell, in that area. How many homes do you guys have in your neighborhood out there? Pretty big neighborhood, right?
Yeah, 200. Yeah.
So just using your neighborhood as an example, 200 postcards, let's say 60 cents a postcard. It would run you about $100, just say $125 a month. And you did that, let's say, for 12 months. So let's just say you had $1,200 in a transaction. And you have $1,200 invested in it. You have 200 potential people. Let's say your turnover rate was a great turnover rate, which it probably is for your area because there's a lot of people moving in and out. Let's say it's 10%. Would $1,200, if you had the opportunity to list at a max 20 homes, but let's say 2 homes. So let's say your average price point is 200,000, that's 6,000 each. So that's $12,000. If you invested in a year, $1,200 and you got 12,000 back.
That's a good return.
Not a bad return. Once you start getting into a community and you start getting your name out there, your first year obviously is going to be the hardest because you may get 1, you may get 2, you may get nothing. But then once you start getting going, that's when your brand, and that's when people know who you are. And then you can kind of start to spread that out a little bit. So maybe you're not giving them a postcard every month. Maybe you're giving them a postcard 1 month, and the next month you're going by and you're knocking on their door and saying, hey, I just wanted to drop by, hope you're doing well. Another one is when you're farming, a lot of people that I've talked to that do really well at farming, if you have an HOA, most HOAs throw a pool party every year. They have, if you have a pool, they throw a big pool party. Get with the HOA and say, hey, would you mind if I cook hot dogs and give them out at the pool party? Like, hot dogs don't cost hardly anything to hand out. So you could have hot dogs, have your card set up, have a little, banner out, whatever you wanted to do. There's a lot of different things. I've heard of other ones where they brought in, ice cream trucks. Food trucks could get a little expensive, but you could do something like that if you really wanted to get into the community. So there's a lot of different ways. What I did want to show you guys is there's a couple of different companies that we've used before when it comes to postcards. So if you're looking at sending out, just random postcards to people, or there's two different strategies as well. If you get a listing in the area, send out what we call just listed postcards. And that goes out to the area saying, hey, I've got a listing in your area. When that one sells, you send out just sold postcards. And then if you want to go above and beyond that, after you send out the postcard, you give them a call, and we'll show you later how you can do that. You give them a call and say, hey, I just want to make sure you got the postcard that we just listed this house, by the way. Do you know of anybody that's looking to move into your area? That gets you to be that expert in your area. Prospect Plus is, this one actually is really good when it comes to if you want to farm. You actually can go in and you can do a one-time setup. So you set up, you tell them where you want to farm, you tell them what postcards you want, and for the next 12 months, they send it out and you don't have to worry about it anymore. So it's kind of a set it, forget it, let me invest in it and be done. So this one is one that we've used a lot on. Another one is called Quantum Digital. Both of these, I think they charge $25 to put your picture in there, your logo in there. It's a setup fee, but you would definitely want to, to look into those. Another way, and I was talking to.
We always
Yes.
have to put impact on anything like.
Yes. Yeah, so make sure that the brokerage is on there as well. We were talking the other day I was talking to a couple agents about farming. And they were saying, hey, I really want to farm an area, but I don't want to just send out randomly to everybody in this area. So are there ways that we can narrow that down and we can target those areas? There are. So you can actually go into to CRS and there's actually a couple of the agents went yesterday to a class that shows you how to do that. That's a way to do the free version. So if you wanted to learn how to do that, you want to learn how to narrow it down to an area, how to get a turnover rate in that area, figure out who is the most likely people to move in this area that I want to target. You can do that. Some of these companies offer that as well. One company that does offer a setup kind of like this is called SmartZip. SmartZip is what we would call a analytical data generating company. So what they do is they go in and they pull all these different data feeds and they narrow down essentially, okay, who is likely to sell their home next year, the following year, and they give you that information, and then you can turn around and you can prospect to those people. There's a lot of different companies that are out there that will do that. If you want to do the free version, I would highly suggest going to the GGAR class because it is something that you can learn a lot on. And I'm sure the agents that went yesterday wouldn't mind seconding that. So
Yeah, and we'll teach you for a fee. Just want to get paid.
yes.
What class is that called? If I were to go on, I want to see it if it's It's the CE Advanced,
Okay.
CRS Advanced class. They have a regular CE class in the morning, and then they have an advanced class in the afternoon at 1.
I'm sure it's offered virtual too, right?
I don't,
They come once a month
Once a month.
from Tennessee.
yeah, because CRS isn't based out of Greenville, it's a Tennessee-based company.
The next time they'll come is in January.
And it's just CRS.com.
Just our CRS program,
Our CRS.
That's in there.
but it's, I think they do have like a CRS.com.
You know, when you look at the tax records, compare that, let's see.
Oh, got it, okay, got it. How do that? RP, so for our.
I like the, they're similar, but, I think CRS, they should go down.
I know there's definitely.
Any questions when it comes to farming? Okay. If you guys are not doing this next one, you really need to be, because it is really easy and it a lot of times takes no effort to do. Agent to agent referrals are probably the easiest way to gain free business. And if you're the one sending it out, it literally costs you the time to pick up a phone and call an agent. If you're the one getting it, it literally costs you being on Facebook. There are a lot of agent referral groups on Facebook. So I would highly recommend getting on there, searching some of these agent referral groups, joining them. And there are agents across the country all the time that are saying, hey, I've got somebody looking to move to Greenville. I got somebody looking to move here. Who can help me out? Obviously, there's other agents on there that are going to try to get this business as well. So you've got to kind of be there when it's ready to happen. But it is one of the easiest ways to get business, both inbound and outbound. If you're an agent, if you're a licensed real estate agent, you technically can refer business anywhere in the world. You can only sell in South Carolina, but you can refer it to anybody in the world. So if you're talking to family or friends or anybody that you know outside of this area, have them call you before they go and call an agent. Let you be that middle person, and then you can get a referral from whatever agent that you send them to. So Facebook is a really good source when it comes to that.
The only thing that, I don't necessarily, I like doing that because I did it this year and I got a good return.
Was it a lot of hard work?
No, actually this other agent from Spartanburg reached out to me.
Oh, okay.
Because she knew another agent in Spartanburg that knew me, and she wanted me to help her client down this way, and then she helped her client up that way towards Spartanburg, and we just came to an agreement that we would, if she sold, I get a referral fee, and if I sold, she gets a referral fee, and so I make $2,000 off that deal. They're doing nothing. I showed them a couple of houses, but they ended up buying up towards Landrum, I believe it was.
Okay.
But the only thing that I don't know is how to track those, because I've seen a bunch of different people out of state.
Okay.
Referrals, and I never hear any more about it. So I don't know whether they're
So I will tell you that
honoring the system.
Well, and the thing is you need to be the one following up with them. Don't make them follow up with you because they're not going to. So if you've got referrals that are out there, call those agents, say, hey, I just need the status of where you're at. Because if you've got a lot and you started calling, there's a good chance that probably one or two of them have already sold and you never got paid for it.
That's right.
But they still have that agreement, so they still have to pay you. So I would definitely reach out to those agents and say, hey, I just wanted to check the status of this referral I sent you. And I would probably do that. If you're sending a referral out to somebody, I would do that every couple of weeks. Just put it on your calendar every couple of weeks to reach out to them.
Every time Rock City tells you they're gonna shut you out, call your referrals. It's interesting days.
That's all.
That's why they're doing that.
I mean, they're doing the
They
same
get paid.
thing, so. The next one, some of you guys have looked at before. It's Zillow, Realtor.com, TruliaHomes.com. There are a ton of different paid lead sources that are out there. The key to those lead sources is 100% of the follow-up. The lead itself, a lot of people say, oh, it is a bad lead. It's a bad lead. It's a bad lead. It's only a bad lead because you stop following up with it. It may be a bad lead this year, it may be a bad lead next year, but the third year when they're actually ready to buy something, if you stay in touch with them, then it's not a bad lead. The best way to stay in touch with them is actually on KV Core, and you don't actually have to do the work, it does it for you. If you put them on some sort of follow-up campaign. So anytime you get a lead in, I would be putting them on a follow-up campaign. And it can be long-term, it can be short-term. You know, if you're getting a lead that's on Realtor.com or Zillow or these other portals, you definitely want to have something that is reaching out on your behalf. This system does a lot of the work for you, so you don't have to do it. So definitely, you know, who here is actually doing, I guess, paid advertising through like Trulia or Zillow or Realtor or those sites? Anybody? Okay.
Dustin,
Yes.
what do you know about, this may be changing the well, I don't know if it is, but Constant Contact, do they do more? I reached out to them because I wanted to make like a flyer for a listing and, but I've had this coach from Constant Contact keep trying to get in touch with me, and they offer, it's like they offer coaching now. I mean, I'm not sure what it is exactly what I think. I mean, I thought it was just Constant Contact to make a flyer. You know what I'm talking about?
I know, I mean, I've heard of the
Like,
company, but I haven't ever used them.
yeah, a lot of agents use that.
Yeah.
And MailChimp was another.
Right.
Whatever, but, they seem to offer a lot more than I was thinking. I don't know. I just didn't know anything.
I don't know anything about that one. So.
They do marketing and stuff for you too.
Oh, really?
Other things, yeah, social media.
Okay. A lot of these companies are kind of getting into, you know, expanding their presence and their opportunity. And a lot of it is because agents don't want to do the work themselves. They want somebody else to do the work for them, and then they can just, you know, get leads from it, which is fine to some extent. You need to really have a couple of different avenues of where your leads are coming in from. So I mean, that could definitely be one. Seller specific online marketing. So we talked about this a little bit in the meeting that we had, the quarterly meeting. If you look at how many listings our brokerages had versus how many buyers we've actually had, a healthy listing or a healthy real estate business is about a 50-50 split. We are at about a 25-75 split, meaning that there's not as many listings. We got about 25% of our closings are actually listings. I guess the downside to that is when you have a listing out, you're essentially building your brand. If you are not building your brand, you're having to go buy those leads from somewhere. So the more listings that you have, the more buyers that you're actually going to have. But the more brand presence that you're going to have as well. So I highly suggest you guys to start focusing a little bit more on the listing side, because the listing side will bring you buyers, and it's probably going to bring you more buyers than you can handle, and that's okay. That's when you turn to, hey, I've got a referral that I can send to somebody whether it's in the brokerage, outside of the brokerage, whatever, to help you with your business. Listings are, and I know a lot of what we're talking about today is listing focused. And that's what we kind of want to focus on, because that is what drives the real estate industry. If all the listings dried up, how many buyers do you think would be out there?
Well, it's still the same amount of buyers, and people still have to find houses.
But those buyers that own houses wouldn't be selling their house, so then you would have much less because there's no houses to sell. So listings are where the business is driven from.
And there are no listings.
You need a break. Let's take like 5 minutes and then we're gonna wrap up the rest of this. And then, I did order pizza, so it'll be here about 12. If you guys want some pizza. Till 12. We're almost through.
Doing great.
Yes.
Old Clemson, Central.
Yes.
Did that make you resurface or not?
I mean, yes. Not there.
I said you about to sell you that.
It's on the front. Right around the corner. Yeah. I appreciate that.
But yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna get started back real quick, so we can finish up. So some of the next couple things we've talked about a little bit. One of the things I wanted to kind of show you guys, and this is another way to get seller leads. Has anybody done landing pages that are seller specific on social media?
Describe that. describe the landing page on social media.
All right, so under KB Core, you have the lead engine side, which is this little tab right here. If you click on lead engine, there's this page right here called IDX Squeeze page. If you open that up, you got to select your domain. So I'm just going to select IRG Home Search. You select your domain, and then you start building. You can do what's called a seller squeeze page, right? So a seller squeeze page really is just a page where somebody goes in on social media and they click on a link and it says, you know, hey, what's your home worth, right? So they click on a link and it brings them over and says, hey, give me a little bit of information about you and I'll tell you what your home's worth essentially. It's a very easy way to go onto social media. And you can click on this link down here. Oh, stop.
Get clear on those.
I know. If you click on direct link, or actually, I'm sorry, generate link, you can copy this to anywhere in Facebook. So it could be on your Facebook page. It could be in a Facebook group. It could be on somebody else's page. If you copy that to Facebook, it's gonna pop up and it's gonna say, what's my homework? And then somebody clicks on it, they give you their information, and then now you can reach out to them and say, hey, I just saw that you put your information online. Would love to give you a value on your home. And get a little bit more information. Now, a lot of times this is not going to give them 100% accurate information.
So it is gonna give them an idea right there, correct?
Sometimes it will.
Or do we have to do one each individual one that we get?
So this will give them, if they give you their information, it will give them a number.
Right.
But that number is just a range, right? Because that number can't be derived without knowing the condition of the home, a lot of different factors. So it's kind of like the, I guess a seller valuation page is the easiest way to explain it. So once you go on, you get their information, you want to reach out to them. And a lot of times when you're reaching out to them, you can say, hey, I know you just received this information, but I want to give you a more detailed price for your home. When are you thinking about selling? When can we meet and get more information from them? That is an easy way to target sellers when it's specifically on Facebook. Another one is working with investors. A lot of investors that flip homes use real estate agents. So go into investor events, meeting investors, getting to know them, become their friends, help them out. That one actually can be a really good side for the listing side. Most investors that are flipping homes will end up listing with an agent. We'll talk about circle prospecting here in a second. Circle prospecting is kind of like farming, except you're doing it on the phone. It's almost like having a phone book. This other one I thought was kind of interesting. I've never actually done it. I know people that have. But what if you were to get a unique listing and then call your local news channel or your local newspaper and say, hey, just want to let you guys know about this house. Can I give you a story on homes that are selling in the area? Can I give you a story on the value of, what's the real estate market look like in Easley right now? News channels are always looking for, news outlets are always looking for stories, right? So then you take one of your listings and you put it as the feature on that news article that you're working with them on, And you're gonna get leads off of that. You're gonna get calls on that home, you're gonna get calls on, I'd like for you to give me a value on my house. So just another free way that you can get your name out there, that you can get your listings out there, and to get buyers as well. Has anybody ever done BPOs, broker price opinions?
Yeah.
Okay, so right now, there's a massive amount of deferments when it comes to homes. People are deferring their mortgage temporarily because they've been laid off of work, they had reduced income, whatever scenario that may be. Banks, when somebody goes into default on their home loan, a bank automatically contacts a real estate agent and says, hey, I need a broker opinion on the value of this home in case this thing goes into foreclosure. They will pay you as a real estate agent to do that. Michelle. Typically, they'll pay. Yeah. Typically, they will pay you, $50 to $200 to give them a quick CMA. There's an agent that works with us here that probably gets 5, 10, 15 of those a week. And it's just somebody calling and saying, hey, I've got a property and, give me a price on it, and then they send them a check. It's an easy way to.
So what qualifies this agent is here? I mean, what is?
Good question.
He picked up the phone and he called a
He's
bank.
calling another agent here, but this agent does this regularly, and said, hey, I just need an opinion on this house, and.
No, so the bank, what he's doing
Oh,
is
I'm sorry.
he's calling banks and he's calling mortgage companies and saying, if you ever need broker opinions, let me know.
Does he use that like 12-page template that they send you?
I'm not sure. No, everyone's different. Everybody wants it set up different. But I do know right now people are like, they're asking, they're on Facebook all the time saying, hey, does anybody do BPOs? Because there are so many banks right now that have defaults.
I used to do them.
Okay.
They may require you to go out to the property and take 6 pictures, front, back, side, street sign, to prove that you actually were there and didn't lift a picture off of Google. And
Perfect.
yeah,
So that would be the perfect time to knock on the door and say, hey, have you ever thought about selling your house? By the way, I'm here to do
Because your bank's
BPO.
gonna take your
BPO
house.
for the bank.
but
I mean, in all honesty, it would be.
they can take many hours to complete. I'm just saying that, watch out if you're gonna get into that you're not doing a
Right.
12-hour BTO for $50.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
We talked about some of these other things. The last thing I want to kind of talk to you guys about before we jump into our last little bit is KV Core does offer a lot when it comes to additional advertising, additional marketing, additional leads. So I wanted to kind of walk you guys through and just tell you what it is that they offer from a lead standpoint. Who has ever used Google ads or what they call pay-per-click ads for any sort of advertising?
I've used Facebook ads.
Okay.
I've used Google, but I've used Facebook ads.
Okay, so I want to pull something up. Just to kind of give you an idea.
Wins.
I do this a lot. Are you on the marketplace for Facebook? Is that what you just went to?
No, this is
Or
Google.
you just put homes at Google, okay.
Yep. So
I just did this one.
if you are a real estate agent, there's a couple people that you will never beat, a couple companies you will never beat. You'll never beat Realtor.com. You'll never beat Zillow. You'll never beat Trulia. If you scroll down, these are what we call organic feeds, right? So they have so much presence on Google that they're popping up at the top. There is a way to beat them though. And the only way to beat them is to run advertising up top. So you could be one of the 4 agents that when somebody goes and they search for homes in Easily, that they're clicking on your website before they actually find Zillow or Trulia or these other sites. So when you do Google advertising, what they do is they come in and they create these ads for you that pop above everybody else. So there's only 4 slots. So it does depend on how much advertising funds you want to spend, how much you pay per lead, that type of thing. Now, I will tell you this, an average lead on Google in this area costs about $2 to $5. Do you know what an average Zillow lead costs? About $100. So you can choose where to spend money. You can spend it on Google, or you could spend it on Zillow, and you could probably get 20 leads for the price of 1 lead off of Zillow. Then those people go into your KV Core and you start, and doing it through KV Core, it actually shows you, if you run Google Ads, it will show you where those people come from. So you can actually go and see that they clicked on your site, when they clicked on it, how many times they looked at it. You can do that either through Google, you can also do it through Facebook. The cool thing about Facebook is it's cheaper than Google is, and they can do what they call retargeting. Does anybody know what retargeting is?
I'm reading it right now.
So Michelle likes to order stuff off of Amazon every other day. Just kidding. If I go on my Facebook, somehow they know exactly what's been searching on Amazon.
Yeah, they listen and they learn.
That's retargeting. So if somebody were to click on your face, if you were to run retargeting ads on Facebook, and somebody clicked on your ad, and then they went somewhere else on Google or any other site, your face is going to follow them, or your picture or whatever your ad is going to follow them everywhere they go. It's just continually staying in front of the people. So that's another way of getting.
It's kind of like
leads.
geo-capturing.
Yes. Yeah. And that's what they do. They put a cookie on the computer, and the only time that it comes off is if you take all your cookies off, which most people don't, on a regular basis. Idealist is a referral network. If you're not on there, I would create a profile on there. All it is a referral network across the country with agents and it's actually a really large referral network. So I would hop on there. It doesn't cost anything to be a part of it. Property boost. I know several of our agents have done this. When you get a listing, you can boost that property on social media. And what they do is they run an ad on social media. You get leads off of that. Mike, how you did one recently. You spent $50. How many leads do you think you got off of it?
$60.
$60?
Where would I find it? Because we found that before.
Where is it? Is it on the same page? Is it on that one?
It's on
Just scroll down.
I think it was like 10 or 15 leads.
What's it called? Property boost?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
If you go to your listings in KV Core, you can boost it right there to the right.
You can.
Yeah, so it makes it easier. It'll connect right to your listing.
Yes.
And I got 50 last weekend.
50.
50 leads from 2 different listing boosts. And I just did it from Friday to Monday over
Right.
the weekend. I had done it for a whole week, and I think it's $60, but for the weekend it was 45.
So you spent $90.
I spent $90.
Okay. And you got 60 leads. So it cost you like
Is that
40 cents a lead?
So the property listings that are popping up are all the impact
You can do
listings
it for 150 for the whole month.
on the little house. They're all the impact listings.
The under which tab?
The house on the property. I just clicked out of that. and I
Yes.
went to Listings, because you were saying your listing.
Oh, if you click on listings, no, it's the entire MLS.
It's the entire MLS. Oh,
But be
okay.
careful because you can't market other people's
No, no,
listings.
no, I
Yeah.
was gonna say, so finding your own listings on Facebook is
Right.
is
So Property Boost is definitely a good way to go. It's $50, $60 on every listing that you get. I would highly recommend investing that.
I think I'm looking at the right thing, it says business analytics pipeline.
Yeah.
117. And then it breaks it down to like Spirit Prospect 15, new lead 68, active lead 31, clients.
That's something different.
Sorry. Don't do it.
There's another, they also do Facebook leads, like you can do targeted Facebook leads if you want to. They have retargeting on Google as well. Let's see here. If you really wanted to, to go all in, they now have what they call core multi-channel. Core multi-channel is Google advertising, Facebook advertising, and then it is a personal inside sales agent that reaches out to all of these leads for you and then transfers them to you when they decide they want to buy a house. So it's like having an ISA that qualifies your leads for you.
What do they charge?
What section
800
is
a
that
month,
listed?
it says right here.
800?
749 a month.
What section was that?
Core multi-channel. So that's 800 a month plus the advertising budget.
You can expect 20 to 40 fresh contacts to be generated and followed up on with every month of the service.
So they might include a certain amount.
Instagram.
It's much cheaper than hiring an ISA. An ISA is going to cost you about $2,500 a month plus commission. So let's see here. Keep an eye on these things. They keep adding different ones. They keep merging with different companies, bringing on different things. So I just wanted to kind of give you guys an idea when it comes to moving forward. Really, the last thing that I want to talk to you guys about, I want to share you guys, is I met with a couple agents last week, and there's a couple of programs that we have had really over the last few years. And both of them we kind of talked about today. But what we want to do is we really want to focus this next year on generating leads and generating listings and a lot of times doing it with other people kind of builds your confidence up a little bit. So having people that are around you, having people that are, that are winning the appointments, having people that are gaining, potential listing leads, it really helps to bring up the motivation, to bring up the confidence level, and you get to hear what other people are saying. So what we're going to actually start doing is what we call Monday Madness Lead Generating Power Hour. There's other teams, other brokerages that do it as well, and they have a really good success rate off of it. So this is not something you have to do. This is just an opportunity if you guys want to partake in it. You can meet either here in the Easley office. If you live in Greenville, you can meet at the Greenville office and do it as a group. But what this is we really want to give you access to these two systems that we pay for, so that you as impact agents can have the same opportunity to gain listings just like we were doing when we had a real estate team. So this sheet of paper kind of walks through that. Vulcan 7 is a system that really, I would say, was the #1 factor of our success as a real estate team. Probably 80% of our listings came from Vulcan 7. And I would say over the 5 years we had our team, it was probably 400 listings that we got off of Vulcan 7. So it was hands down the best thing that we ever had. And we want to open that up to you guys. And the other system that we want to open up to you guys is called Cole Realty Resource. Cole Realty Resource, the easiest way to explain it is it's a phone book of home phone and cell phones. Most people don't have home phones now, so it's a lot of cell phones. But it's a way for you guys to farm areas, to prospect to neighborhoods. It's a way to see expireds when they come on the market, to see withdrawals when they come on the market. It gives you their cell phone number so you can reach out to them. So what the power hour is going to look like is there's no, it's going to be open here from 4 to 7 on Mondays. If you can come in, that's awesome. We'd love to have you in here. You're going to have agents. What's that?
What time?
4 to 7.
4 a.m. to 7 a.m.?
4 a.m. to 7 p.m. 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. And the reason we chose that time is that's when a lot of people are going to be getting off of work, they're home, they're available to pick up the phone. And honestly, there's probably some of you guys that are thinking right now, well, my business is really busy. I don't have time. I don't know what to say. This is not a good time for me. Honestly, if I can just be 100% transparent, those are all excuses. If you want your business to succeed and you want your business to grow, you can do all of these things, right? You can do every one of these things on here, but the one thing that you have to still do is you still have to pick up the phone. So if the rest of your week you were doing all these things and you come in here on Monday and you started calling all these leads that you got, or you started calling for new listings or calling for potential listings, it's really going to excel at everybody's business. And we're going to be here to kind of walk you through what it looks like. If you've got questions, we want to make it just an open, you come and go as you please. We're going to have a big bell up. If you get a listing, you come over, you ring the bell. We'll send out an email afterwards saying, hey, the team that showed up today secured this many appointments, and each week we'll build on it. So we want to make it, even though everybody is essentially an individual agent, we kind of want to work as a group and build each other from a team standpoint. Because yes, we're a brokerage, but we're also a big team, right? So a team, the goal of a team is to help each other be successful. And really that's what Impact is about. We want you guys to be successful. We want you guys to have the opportunity to build your business, and we want to give you the tools to do that. I will tell you there's no other brokers that's offering these platforms. Matter of fact, there's only about 5 agents in the upstate, the western upstate area that have Vulcan 7. And I've had it for years. It actually goes back to 2014. So there's about 3,000 old homes that are on there that have not listed or relisted. So there are new prospects and there's old prospects. But I want you guys, take a look at this. I gave you guys some just basic scripts. If you've never heard of Tom Ferry is a really good scripting coach. A lot of people kind of cringe and tense up when they hear scripts. All scripts are questions. All you need to do is learn what questions to ask. When you learn what questions to ask, then you can turn around and you can make the statement that you put the question in whatever you want. You can say it how you want it, but at the end of the day, all this is just questions that you need to be asking people. My suggestion is you come on Monday. We're going to start it this Monday. If you decide to come on Monday, bring this with you and literally have it in front of you while you're talking to those people. I would just take a look through it, go through it over the weekend if you guys want to. For the Greenville agents, if there's a couple of you guys that want to get together and meet at the Greenville office, that's perfectly fine. And you don't have to be there for the whole time. You could be there for an hour, you could be there for 2 hours, but excuse me. The goal of this is not to say, okay, you've got to come in from 4 to 7 and lead generate. The goal of it is to really instill in you guys a habit of lead generating. Because if you have the habit of lead generating for your business won't go up and down in waves. Most real estate agents, most real estate teams, their businesses go up and down because business, now I don't have business. I got business, now I don't have it. Because they don't have a consistent lead generating platform. So wanted you guys to have the opportunity to do this. There's gonna be a couple agents that are more producing agents that really want to help you guys as well. So they're gonna be there. If you're in the coaching program, I'm pretty sure that your coach is gonna ask you to be there if you can, because it's something that is, in order for you to grow your business, you gotta do it.
And this is Monday
Yes,
at.
Monday from 4 to 7.
What about supper during that time? What do we do about supper?
Bring a sandwich.
That sounds like an
Bring yourself a
excuse.
sandwich.
No, I mean, I'll be here.
Is it gonna be filmed by chance?
No, this is you doing your thing. So
That's what Grub was for, like.
this is you guys, so, we wanted to do it in a setting where you can build on each other, because that definitely helps. But if you can't make it to this, still do it outside of this. Don't not lead generate. What we did say, what we decided is that if we're gonna do this, we wanna do it for agents that really want it. So we do ask that you come once a month at least, because we are gonna change the password every month or so. And that will keep those that are doing, what they need to be doing, and it rewards them, and those who aren't coming, it kind of keeps, it hopefully will drive them to come. So, any questions?
I want to make sure that we're not calling like the same people. Is there a way to?
So that is a really good question. So it's okay if you do, and I'll tell you why. Because you calling somebody, your personality might be different than Mike's personality. They might like talking to you on the phone. They may hang up on Mike. They may hang up on you, and then Mike calls, and Mike gets, the happy person now. It's okay to talk to the same person.
Yeah, and the
I
more that.
got 14 calls from Impact Realty. You should hire one of them.
So, exactly. So that's exactly what I've told people. So I will get called, like when I was prospecting, I would call them, and I would say, where I'm calling you because your home expired off the market. And they'll be like, I've got 14 calls from these agents, blah, blah, blah. And I would say, that's funny because there's 5,000 agents in the upstate market. You might want to hire one of those 14 because we're the only ones out here working.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
It gives us more.
All right. Are you sure they didn't drop the food outside? Like, sit it outside?
Apparently a tax realtor can be free to the neighborhood.
Right.
That wasn't the pizza people.
Okay. Well, they should be here any second. So, yes. Hold on one second.
I just have a couple of MLS questions for you. If you were to, obviously we can sell in South Carolina, but let's say I've got a client that's here who wants to buy in Hilton Head.
Hold on, guys. One second.
Have to be a member of that MLS to be able to sell or just to list?
So you don't have to be a part of that MLS. You just won't have access to their MLS for, like, you might have to call the listing agent directly.
Okay. And then here, like, one of us is gonna be Greenville, one of us is gonna be, Western Upstate. We can't put each other on that listing if we're not both MLS members.
Correct. Yes, you have, you can only put yourself on an MLS.
If you are, like I can't add her as a co-lister to Western Upstate if she's not a member.
Correct.
But do we have any Georgia? Could she put it in Western Upstate? Because she might register.
So like.
Say that one more time.
So we have a listing, and I'm the listing agent, she's the co-listing agent.
in Greenville, she's in Western Upstate. Can she take that listing and put it in Western Upstate? Because she's still part of the listing.
But she's not in that,
She is.
oh, if she's part of that, then yes.
Okay.
You better not, they have a way that you can do it, but you might need to pay a monthly fee just to do it. So just call Western Upstate and ask them that.
If they're both on the listing agreement, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, if you're both on the listing agreement, one can put it in Western Upstate, one can put it in Greenville. And to answer your question about the Georgia MLS, we are getting that.
Do we have, is anybody ever licensed in Georgia?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes, but we are getting, the brokerage is getting the Georgia MLS. We sent all the paperwork, they sent us back needing some funky paper that we gotta figure out what they're talking about, so.
So do we have to take the Georgia exam?
I think it's just a reciprocity.
Is it?
I think you just have to send paperwork.
That would be, because there's quite a few, like where I live here on the Georgia side.
Yeah. There you go. Speak up a little bit. Greenwood MLS? We don't have Greenwood MLS as of right now. We've talked about it. The thing is, we need, when we join an MLS, we have to join the board and the MLS. So it's gotta be, you know, beneficial for everybody. If we only have one or two agents, typically it's not enough to join that area.
I just wanted to say that, I'm a licensed builder, so if you ever have, a listing and let's say they need to have a bathroom retiled, or they need to have some plumbing or some electrical work, something that you need, that they should do on the front side, you can always call me, because we do really well with small little projects like that we can get and I've got the guys lined up, we can come do it quick, if you want like to add a wall of shiplap, or if you need to have a bathroom tile, or you need a tub replaced, or some granite put in, but you need a contractor to do it. I'm a licensed builder, I've got a small crew, and we do lots of little projects like that, so sometimes when you have a listing and the bathroom's really outdated, and your clients, you think that could be the selling point, you can give me a call, and
Tell us your name again.
my name is Amy Gantz, and my company's tigerheart.com, or Tigerheart Construction, not .com, but that's my, so, yeah, please.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but that really, I've got quite a few more, but that really helps sometimes, because we'll come in and do the work, and then it looks brand new. And it makes it